As an author, it's not uncommon to be a member of multiple author pages on various social media platforms. I've noticed on many of these platforms there are a ton of the same questions being asked day in and day out. To me, they're easily answered questions. I have the experience to answer them. But it shows me how many people out there really don't know what's kind of going on behind the scenes. So I thought with today's video I would discuss a few of the various terms you will hear throughout the publishing industry and hopefully answer some of the questions you guys may have. Hey guys, Levi Samuel here. Now, a few of the questions that I've seen over just the past couple of days. What does it mean to be published? Being published means that your work has been published on any platform for any reason. It could be indie publishing, traditionally published, even if you're just publishing to your Facebook page. You are publishing something. Publishing is just putting it out into the world. It's like clicking send on an email. Most people consider being a published author to be an author who has published their work in some regard of being paid. To discuss indie publishing or self-publishing, those two terms mean the same thing. It means basically you've done all the legwork yourself, you've set up your accounts on Amazon, KDP, or any other platform out there, you've put your stuff in, you've uploaded your book, you've uploaded your cover, you've got all the metadata in there, you set your pricing, and it goes live. By doing this, you have indie published, you have self-published your work. The other side of that is something called hybrid publishing. Now, this is one that I have heard many people speak to without certainty of what they're saying. Hybrid publishing simply means that you are both indie published and traditionally published. It means nothing else. I am a hybrid author. I have work that has been published through a traditional publisher, and then I'm also self-published. So that makes me a hybrid author. Any author who works through a traditional publisher and is indie published is a hybrid author. That's not to be confused with the term vanity press. A lot of people think that hybrid publishing is vanity press, and that's not the case at all. That is 100% inaccurate. Hybrid publishing is simply being published traditionally as well as self-publishing or indie publishing. Vanity press is where you hire somebody to do the work for you. You've written the book, you basically pay them money for them to put it up and publish it, no different than you could do yourself through indie publishing. Vanity press is something that most authors want to stay away from. I cannot stress that enough. Almost all of them are scams. They'll contact you saying, hey, you can publish your book with us, and then they charge you fees for you to publish your book. If it is a legitimate publisher, it will never cost you a penny to publish your book. All of the publisher's money is made on the back end from sales. If they like your book, if they believe there's going to be success in it, and they want to pick you up as an author, they will publish the book, they will put out all the money for cover art, they will make sure that the editing is good and where it needs to be before they ever publish it. Vanity press or vanity publishing is where you pay them money to do all the work. About the only time this is ever feasible is, say, if you're already a celebrity and you have a book that you want to be put out there, but you don't really know the steps to do everything and you don't want to learn or put in the effort to do it, then you could hire somebody to do it for you. But even at that, I believe there are better ways than dealing with a straight vanity press. Then you get into traditional publishing. With traditional publishing, somebody has read the manuscript and says, I like this, we can make money off of this, so then they offer you a contract. You read through the contract, you make sure that it's the way you want it to be. It's usually not going to be overly negotiable, but that depends on really who you are. With that, you sign the rights of the manuscript over to the publisher. They now own that manuscript. They will spend the money to get cover art, they will put the money into editing, they'll go back and forth with you on making sure that it's edited the way that it needs to be. A title will be finalized, they will do most of the metadata work, and then they will publish the book. There are pros and cons to traditionally publishing as well. One of the biggest pros is the fact that they can get you into physical bookstores. Now, you can do this yourself through indie publishing, but it's much harder to do. With traditional publishing, you get into the physical bookstores, you open doors that are otherwise going to be difficult for you to open by yourself. They also put the upfront cost into the production side. The downside, you have little to no say in really the end result of the book. You have no say on what it's priced at. You have little to no say on the marketing avenues that are taken, although you will 98% of the time be expected to market yourself. If you do not market yourself, whether you are indie or traditionally published, most of the time you're probably going to fail. You have to market no matter which route you go. Publisher, whether it be a big publisher or a small publisher, isn't going to spend money on advertising and marketing whenever that's something that you are fully capable of doing. So as an author, you need to really be focused on marketing and learn what to do. Regardless of if you are an independent publisher or if you are through a traditional publisher, you're going to have what's called royalties. Anytime your book sells, you'll make a small percentage of the amount that the book sold for. For indie publishing, that percentage is going to be higher. When you're traditionally published, it's usually going to be a smaller amount, usually 3 to 5%, sometimes up to 15% depending on who you are. The other side of that, working with a traditional publisher, most of the time you will have what is called an advance. This is an advance of money that you are given for a completed manuscript. Usually it's broken into a few different size checks depending on the size of the advance. They'll send you a lump sum when the completed manuscript is sent to them. They'll send you a lump sum whenever it publishes. Usually it's broken into 2 or 3 different payments, but these advances, you do not have to pay them back unless you fail to deliver. An advance is simply an advance on royalties made. It means that they have calculated, they have a general idea of how much money your book's going to make, and the advance they offer you will depend on the amount of money they believe they can make off of the book. The thing with an advance, you will not gain royalties until that book has made that money. Once the book has paid out your advance, then you will get royalties, but not before. Most of the time, you're going to get your advance, and that's all the money you'll make from the book. You're not going to get royalties because more than likely your book's not going to pay out. Most books do not pay out. The indie side of that, whenever you put your book out, royalties is pretty much all you get. You don't get an advance. Any book sold, you're making money on, and it trickles in. That's not to say you're going to get rich off of one book. That's highly unlikely to happen. A few other terms, wide or exclusivity. This applies to ebooks only. Being wide means that you are published anywhere you want to be published. Being exclusive is a thing that only Amazon does. Amazon exclusivity offers you access to KDP Select, which is how you get enrolled into the Kindle Unlimited program, which is pretty much Netflix for books. People pay a monthly subscription to be a member of Kindle Unlimited, and then they can read as many books as they want without having to pay the cost. As an author, you will be paid per pages read. That number has lowered drastically over the past 7-8 years. It's currently about a third of a penny per page read, which means somebody will have to read about 3 pages before you get a single cent. The formula for this pages read is I think they're on version 3 of it right now. I don't really know how they figure that out, but it's a way to normalize the size of books. So, yeah, it's a formula. You'd have to talk to Amazon about it. I'm not 100% how they figure that out. If you're a beginning author jumping into the indie side of things, it's probably going to be a good idea to check out Kindle Unlimited first. You may get lucky. You may have success with Kindle Unlimited. I did not, so I've decided not to use it anymore. Of course, if I want to, I can release my new books into Kindle Unlimited, but my other stuff that's wide will never be on Kindle Unlimited again. Make sure you do your research between either going wide or staying exclusive to Amazon to make your own decisions. If I price my book at free, can I still get pages read? That's a big no, for multiple reasons. Pages read means that you have to be exclusive to Amazon. You have to be participating in Kindle Unlimited in order to get benefit from the pages read payout. That means you're exclusive to Amazon, which means you cannot be wide. The only way to get a free book on Amazon is to be wide. You have to go wide. You have to set your book at free other places. You have to contact Amazon, let them know your book is free here. They will price match and drop your book to free. That's the only way to get a free book on Amazon. If you are doing that, that means you're wide, which means you are not participating in Kindle Unlimited, which means you do not get benefit of pages read. Another one I've seen is, if I am not happy with my publisher, can I publish the book myself? That's another probably not. If you are with a publisher, even if you've made the mistake of going with a Vanity press, they own the rights to that book. If you publish that book under their nose, they can probably sue you for your own stuff. The only real way to do that would be to buy your rights back, or to wait if there's a cancellation clause in the contract. If the contract is canceled, then you can do what you've got to do. But you have to own the rights to your work, otherwise you are liable to be sued for breach of contract. Anytime you have a deal with a publisher, you have a contract in play. If you don't have a contract, you probably need to make sure that there is one, otherwise you're probably getting screwed. If the publisher is not doing their job, if the publisher is not taking care of you, not doing what they've said they will do. And this does not mean marketing. Marketing, as I've already said, falls on the author's shoulders. As much as that sucks, it would be fantastic for us to just be able to write books, send them out, and go on to the next book. Unfortunately, that's not the way it works. We have to be marketers as well. If your publisher fails in one regard, let's say the cover sucks, and you've told them the cover sucks, and they won't listen, that's a failure. You're going to want to see what you can do to get your rights back. You probably will need to contact a lawyer, have them look over whatever contract's been drawn up, and approach it that way. Do what you have to do to get your rights back. Once you've done that, then you can go in and publish yourself once you don't have to deal with them anymore. But until that happens, you better play it safe, otherwise they can flip it on you. The next part of that is, if I get my rights back, can I use the same cover? That's another, you're probably going to want to say no. If the book has already been published through another publisher, you got your rights back from it, you're going to want to make sure that you change the cover at minimum. You may want to even change the title. Make it as new of a book as you can. The publisher is the one that made the arrangements for that cover art. That means any licenses, any arrangements that were made belong to that publisher and not to you. If you're using that particular cover for that book, you're going to run into some legality issues. That's not to say you're ever going to get caught, but it's better to err on the side of caution. If you get your rights back and you're going to republish the book yourself, change as much of it as you can to make it something new and unique and get it away from the publisher that you had issues with. That's pretty much all I've got for right now. If you guys ever have any questions, if you've run across these similar types of questions or even have them for yourself, make sure you drop them in the comments and I will answer them as soon as I can. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time and you have a good one. Bye.